Welcome guys, how's everybody doing today? Great to see all of you. All right, so listen to this, right? Your life is about to change. You can have all the money, you can have all the success, you can have all the wealth, you can have everything you want. And this is what I want to expose you to. And if you overstand this, it'll shift your life away. Shift your life. You'll start doing it. And here's what I want you to understand and learn, okay? You, first of all, okay, stop believing your mind. Number one. Number two, you are not your mind. You are co-creators in this field. That statement right there, if you pay attention and if you accept it, it will shift your life. All things will start going your way. Mark, why would all things start going my way? Think about it, people. Think about it, chosen ones. What is our greatest enemy? What is our greatest resistance? The mind. In our heads, in our thoughts. We pay attention more. We listen more. We're affected more by our own minds, by our ego, our personalities, an image. We have beliefs. We have ideas of what we are, what we can't do. The majority of things that our mind puts in our head is to debilitate us, is to limit us. Think about it. And we pay attention to the mind. When we pay attention to the mind, when we pay attention to our feelings that the mind produces, it puts us in a trance. Everything is affected by the mind. Your hormones are affected. Your hormonal changes, your mind will pick it up. The mind is a tool. It's an additive to your consciousness. It's not who you are. It's like an asset you got when you came here. It didn't come with you. It wasn't preloaded into your database. It was a plugin. You went to your app store and you got the plugin. You got the mind plugin. Oh, let me plug this mind into my computer. The mind, as soon as you plug your mind in, virus, malware, got you. And you've been living with that ever since. Now you're gonna get an antivirus to remove those negative things out of your mind. So I'm doing this to make it make sense to you guys. Mark, how do I do that? How do I get things out of my mind? Recognize you're not the mind. Easier said than done. How am I not the mind, Mark? Observe this. When your mind is active, there's another consciousness behind it all. Are you aware of your thoughts? Yes, I am, Mark. Are you aware when your mind is telling you negative things? Yes, I am, Mark. So if you are aware of your thoughts and you are aware of the mind, oh man, there's more than one person in your head. I mean, you can't be aware if there's only one person in your head. You couldn't be aware of being aware. The awareness is your default state. The mind is the plugin. So, how do I fix it? If you become aware, when your mind is telling you something negative and you realize, I'm aware of this negative thought, I can't be the thing I'm being aware of. Got it? I'll put it another way to you. The observer cannot be affected by what it is observing. Got it again? That's the simplest one. The observer cannot be influenced, cannot be affected by what it is observing. Unless there's an unless the observer chooses to take on what is being observed. That's called free will. So if we are being inundated by our mind's negativity and what we're not good at and what we can't get, we are giving the mind permission to change our reality. Well, Mark, how does that work? Well, the mind works with the subconscious. So the plug-in is in your system. So you have a choice. And all along, you didn't think you have a choice, right? You thought, this is how it is, it's my negative mind. No, you have a choice. So here's the two most important things you gotta remember about this. You have a choice. Number one, you are not the mind. Number two, that's it. Okay, I'm not the mind and I have a choice. So the next question is, what is your choice going to be? Because you can observe it. You can affect it as well, right? All right, let me show you why you cannot be the mind. Maybe this will make it easier for you to understand. The reason why you cannot be the mind is because you can change the mind. If a thought comes in your head that you're not going to get your goals and your desires, you actually can redirect that thought. There's a couple things you can do. You can ignore the thought. You can think of another thought that makes you feel a little bit better. You can accept the thought that you're not good enough. So there's a ways more things you can do. So you cannot be the mind then. Now, if you were the mind, check this out. If you were indeed the mind, if you were the things your mind were saying to you, you could not have any choice. You would have to accept. You couldn't change your mind. So even if you, okay, I'm going to change my mind. What's happening? I can't change it. You couldn't ignore your mind. Wait a minute, I'm trying to ignore this mind. I can't ignore this mind. If you were the mind. It's literally impossible. Go ahead. If you think you're the mind, go ahead right now and try not to change a thought. Try not to ignore it. Okay? Can't do it. Any thought that comes into our heads, guys, we can either accept it, we can reject it, we can change it, we can distract it, we can ignore it, we can do a whole bunch of stuff. But that knowledge right there will bring you all the abundance you want in your life. You got it? So Mark, what are you saying? What I'm saying is that all the problems and the struggles and the issues you have is attested to the mind. And what I'm saying is, if you understand you're not the mind, and you don't associate with the mind, and then when the mind comes in, you change the mind, you focus more on what you want, then you will get a fulfilling life. That's what I'm saying. So the reason I'm saying it, because most people don't know this. Most people unconsciously or unknowingly accept their minds, and you cannot be your mind. That will take you to new levels of manifestation, because now you're going to have more courage, more understanding. You're not going to take it so hard anymore. You're going to literally ignore it. If someone exposed something to you and you know the truth about it, you're going to look at it a totally different way. When you change your perception of a totally different way, it's going to affect the outcome. And the reason why this is so powerful to understand is because the mind is the tool that keeps us down the most. 90% of mismanifestations, 90% of what we don't want, 90% of what we get is through the mind. So if I can affect the mind, change the mind, or tell the mind or ignore the mind, then that literally means my reality not only can, but must, M-U-S-T, must change, because the mind communicates information to the subconscious, which does the work. So if I associate myself with my mind, I am telling my subconscious that I am not worthy. Point blank. 90%, actually 98, okay, But a 100% of not worthiness, not good enough, lack and scarcity, it comes from the program of the mind. If it's coming from the program of the mind, and the mind is communicating to the subconscious, and if I accept it, I give it permission. You know, sometimes when you put a plug in it, it says, can you give permission for this app to use your data, your camera? Give this app permission so it can use your phone. You press give it permission, the app's all in your store. So if I'm giving the app of my mind permission, I'm also stating, okay, yeah, take over my life, take over my consciousness, take over and do. Go ahead. My subconscious now believes and accepts. Okay, so you are the mind, Mark. So therefore, I will manifest more of what your mind is putting forward to you, right? But now if I understand I'm not the mind and my subconscious comes in, I can either accept or reject. My subconscious can say, is this what you want? I can say, no, I don't want that. This is what I want. And that will start to come in. So what's the secret to mastering this? The secret is you have to practice thinking good stuff about what you want in your life instead of thinking negative stuff that you've been doing all along. You're gonna have to do a whole new reverse. You're gonna have to start every day. You're gonna have to start practicing seeing the best that could go on in your life, seeing the best that could happen to you. You have to start seeing your dreams become a reality in your imagination first. Then it will become a reality in your physical 3D next. That's simply how it works. That will change your whole life. You will get so much more accomplished, so much more done, and you will see the proof, as they say, in the pudding. So, is there anything that stops the mind from corrupting the observer? Okay, well, number one, the mind cannot corrupt the observer. What the observer is doing is just being aware of it. So the observer can choose to experience it because the observer already knows nothing. The observer knows that everything is always working out. The observer is just here just to see and watch. It's just watching everything. It's never going to get influenced. All the observer is saying is, okay, is this something that you would like to observe to your higher self? The observer is a higher self. And then you now can use the same mind, a tool, because the mind has an off and on switch, right? The mind has the on switch when it's in the ego mode. The mind has the off switch when it's in the observer mode. That means when you come in and say, okay, I'm going to take over now, mind, it goes off. The ego goes off. When you get out of it, the ego turns on. So there you know, you have a switch to turn off and on your mind. So does meditation quiet the mind? Meditation, yes, it distracts and it quiets the mind. But if you really want to master your mind, there's only one thing you just need to do a lot, and you will master the mind. Can anyone guess what that is? Okay, I'll give you a clue. I'll give you a tip. How did the mind become what it is? Think about that. Okay, how did our mind develop? Like a negative bias about us, always talking bad about us, always seeing the worst outcome about us. How did the mind develop that? The mind developed that from practice and repetition. The mind got it from looking at something else, from observing something else, from seeing something else, from experiencing certain things, from hearing, from watching. So the mind sees all the stuff in your environment and it shoves it into your head and says, this is the way the world is. So that's how the mind works. So if you want to silence your mind, so to speak, or if you want to get your mind different, you're going to have to do what the mind did to you to change it. And what was that? You're going to have to start adopting a new belief, new imagination, new positive things. You're going to have to spend every day thinking positively, optimistically of what's the best that can happen in your life, everything. You're going to have to really put effort into doing that, because that is the only way it's going to change the circuits in your brain that affects the mind. So if you practice being an optimistic person, basically if you practice being someone that sees the glass half full instead of half empty, a whole bunch of miracles will start coming into your life, because you're doing the same thing the mind did to you, but you're doing it in reverse for what you want. That's the only way. That's the most effective way you are going to escape the mind, so to speak. All right, let's talk about some tricks that your mind plays on you to distract you from really manifesting what you want. We're gonna talk about the number one trickery the mind puts into all of us. The mind makes you believe that you are separate from the present moment. The mind makes you believe that it's hard to be present. But here's the biggest trick. And you listen to this. Even when you think you're not present, you are present. Make it big. It's impossible for you to not be present. You are always 100% present. You are always in the moment. So if you're trying to get into the present moment, you can't get into the present moment because you're already in the present moment. So that that's not what you do. What you have to do is to understand that, oh, I am already in the present. I just want to focus more in the present. Your mind makes you think that there is the past and there is the future, that there is tomorrow and there was yesterday, so it can pull your head up with crap and create anxiety for you. That's the biggest. There's a lot of tricks the mind play, but that's the one you need to know because that's the most powerful. Why is that the most powerful one? Because if the mind can make you lose focus of the present moment, it can slow down your manifestation. Why is that? Because everything can only manifest in the present moment. You can't manifest anything tomorrow or yesterday. You can't manifest in the future or the past because it doesn't exist. The future and the past have no realities of their own. They are all borrowed from this moment. Whoa! Let me repeat that again because that's a big one. The future and the past have no realities of their own. All of their realities are stolen or taken from this present moment and then shoved into your consciousness to make you think there's a tomorrow and a yesterday. Think about it. You want me to prove it to you right now? To show you this is true? When do you think of your future? Now. When do you think of your past? Now. When you were in your past thinking about the past or the future, when were you doing it? Now. Let's give a hand for that one coming from the higher self. That's groundbreaking right there. You catch that? Many of you didn't catch it. You got it? Some of you will still scratch your head and say, all right, take me a while to get it, but I'll get it, Mark. I'll watch it over and over again. Let me say it again. Everything you ever did or do, you do it now. You can't be in tomorrow if you're not in it now. You can't be in yesterday if you're not in it now. So Mark, what's going on? Why do we feel so disconnected? Well, it's called a memory. The mind uses the field around us, right? The field is our consciousness divined into this quantum field. So what the mind does, the mind gathers information from our experiences, and there's like, call it a cloud. You know your cloud where you store your data? The cloud. So it puts stuff in the cloud and it appears to us as the past and it appears to us as the future. But it's non-existence. It's just things that we pull in. The only thing that's live is the present. So you can look at those as what we call replays or upcomings, but they're not live. You want to be live. You don't want to be pre-recorded. You want to be live. Everything is live. When you're live, you can do it. When you're live, you can make changes. When you're live, you can influence the field. You can only ever influence manifestation when you're live, when you're in the moment. So Mark, okay, so now I know that the present moment is always here and now, right? Now I also know that it's not that I'm not in the present, it's just I'm losing focus of being in the present. So how do I remain focused in the present, Mark? So you're going to remain focused in the present by utilizing the tools of your senses. So you have to bring all of your 5 senses at a point in the present. So that means you have to become more aware of the environment. Notice to hear moving on your arms, notice the sounds around you, notice your breathing, notice what you're looking at, and then lock in and just become more observant. That's going to force your mind to make you focus in the present, because now all your senses is against the mind. Your senses can only operate in the moment. So now you become in the moment and you practice that, you're going to start to develop a neutrality to that. Now your manifestations will start to really excel, because now you won't have the anxiety of the past or the future, because they have no realities of their own. So now you can create a new reality with a new imagination. And when you do this new imagination now, it also go into the mind, and the mind will now start to help you and see things as part of you. Because remember what the mind does, the mind just gathers information based on the environment. Where does he gather the information from? From you, from your beliefs, from what you think about, and from its own experience. So he's put them together and create a concoction called the ego. So now you can influence the ego to shift a little bit. The ego will actually shift a little bit. It's not going to shift a whole lot, because in the mind is a default code built into the mind to preserve itself and to survive. So it uses a lot of trickery to do that, and this is what shows up into our lives as negativity, doubt, fear, etc. So that's there, but you can get it to a point where it doesn't bother you. It's not bothersome, it's just a little bit annoying now. So we're going to move from really bothersome to just annoying. You can deal with annoying. Annoying, we can all handle that. We can learn to ignore annoying. So once you do that, this is when things start to be revealed to you now. A whole bunch of miracles will start manifesting into your life. Because what you're doing now, you're moving out of the mind and you're moving into the observer, and you're moving into the field of consciousness. You're moving into that energy. You're moving into the vibration. Now you're moving into the quantum world where all things start to materialize. And now you're moving into more connection with your subconscious, which lives in the moment, right? So it is now that everything occurs. So your subconscious will say, hey man, welcome man, I'm glad you're here. You finally showed up in the present moment, you know? So your subconscious now will love you and like you, and then it'll start working to help you. Monica, thank you Monica. Monica McDonald's, as always. See how that works? And that is the advice for everything. It'll free you from resistance, because if you're more present, if you're more focused, if you're more optimistic, resistance can't come in there. And then you start to see your synchronicities will increase. A lot of great things will start happening for you, because now you're in a different flow of manifestation. Got it? Everything. So that's what you really need to know, right? So now you know I'm not the mind, I'm the observer, and if I can do this, realize that I'm not the mind, shift, present, I'll get more of my manifestations. All the good stuff will start happening in my life. All right? And I'll see you guys again next time.